Hey, my fellow multidimensionals, it's Aisha Love, founder of Multidimensional You. I'm at my happy place, my power mountain, Mount Bora here in Idaho. This is the tallest peak in Idaho, and it's one of my power spots on the planet. I just love it. Makes me so happy. I literally skipped out in the sagebrush here. If you've never smelled sagebrush. Latin name is Artemisia, like my daughter. So let's get into some Q&A. There are quite a few questions that came in the comments, hundreds of comments on that last video about why you are hiding as a healer. And so we're gonna dive in. We're gonna take these a few at a time. Let's get into it. How do I know what my gifts are and how do I develop them? And kind of a corresponding question, how do I do that in a way that maybe doesn't require credentials, but I'm still legitimate, or I feel legitimate. All right, let's get in there. And I will be answering kind of both from my human direct experience that I have walked, but also I will just be relaying what comes through the, larger field. Okay, so what I'm picking up from the field is to invite in a reflection in the external world of how you're a healer. And pay attention. This will come in interesting ways, sometimes very quickly, maybe in something you're watching, like a movie or a show. It could be on a billboard. It could be something that someone says. That one's getting highlighted and underlined right now. Like somebody's going to say something to you. And it may not be like this direct, you're a healer. It could be, but it's more how you do it. So if you're somebody who's very generous, who validates people, who hands out compliments authentically and graciously, who makes people feel better. I feel better after talking to you. You're such a bright light. You light up the room when you walk in. This type of thing. This is what I'm being shown will come. What's really being emphasized is to work very much with that kind of invite in the reflection, like very intentionally, and then make note of it when it does. And don't dismiss it. This is so common. People I work with all over the planet for a decade and a half. You will ask for this sort of thing and then discount it or minimize it when it shows up, which is just a form of self-protection, little bit of self-sabotage in there. Self-protection meaning you may not identify yet as someone who has a positive impact in the world in a healing fashion. And again, healing is simply meaning anything that contributes to something more whole, harmonious, healthy. Okay. So it doesn't mean you have to be an energy healer. It can, but it doesn't have to be that. For example, I was on the drive up here and I was just I'm going through my next round of shadow work and I'm like, and doubt will come up and just a lot of old wounding will come up. And I had two profound experiences, one of which I asked for, the other descended upon me beautifully. The first was, I was like, I need to see a white horse. A white horse, yeah, because you don't see those very often. So I need to see that. And as I'm thinking it, I look up and there's a white horse right there. So I'm driving by. I mean, it was so fast, it was ridiculous. I started laughing at myself. The other one was I was driving a familiar route. If you've ever been in this part of Idaho, Craters of the Moon is a national park. And I was driving from that area towards the Lost River Range where I am now. And it was the exact same view that I had seen years and years ago, I think 2013, when I was working as a spirit medium and a young girl who had passed came through. It was really profound. I could just feel her there so strongly. And the message was very much like, you know how you helped me and my family, keep going because you're about to help a lot more. My team's showing me. The reason I'm talking about my own example today is it's really important for those of you who are suffering from impostor syndrome or still hiding or still working with doubt. Like it might be easy to see somebody like me and be like, well, she doesn't doubt. As if, no, still big time sometimes, especially when I am going through and excavating another big round of shadow. And when I talk about shadow, if you're not familiar with that term, it's just something that was coined by Carl Jung. And it means the kind of like wounding that is in our blind spot that will end up influencing us in ways that, keep us hiding, keep us minimizing, holding back, withholding. So some of my deepest shadow that I'm just getting to now, thanks to all sorts of things and dynamics at play, including the divine complement relationship I was prepared for earlier this year, considered the most advanced spiritual path in the Buddhist tradition, the divine consort path. Breathe, everybody, breathe. What we raise our hands for. It's all good though. And so some of my deepest wounding is like, I'm not wanted, which has led to me not feeling seen, and, and translates into my metaphysical work, like the planet isn't ready for this, people aren't ready for this, like all the stuff. But at the core, it's all in here. That's why I'm sharing it with you. It's always going to be a work in progress. Take action anyway. 2017, I swore I would never, ever, 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 ever do a YouTube channel. Yeah, there's the raven. They're laughing at me. What helped me get through imposter syndrome was when I began to recognize how much positive impact I was having and healing I was having by delivering messages, especially as a spirit medium at the time. And I recognized that it wasn't my gift to withhold or to sit on. Whoa, it really checked my ego. So I hope that's helpful as well as you navigate. What are my gifts? I don't know. Deep down, you do know how you influence others. Now, the second part to this question, this answer, I should say, is that you will only find out in service the extent of your abilities. And so you may be interprompted. I was interprompted to begin channeling, kind of made me want to throw up. I was like, I can't do that. And then I was like, shoot, well, I guess I'll try. I can deliver messages from people's loved ones who are on the other side. Let's give this a whirl. And then sure enough, it was a thing. So it's that sort of thing. Like, be willing to just set the intention. Please reveal to me and reflect to me in the external world what my gifts are. And then please also put me in the line of service. And I will surrender to my divine will and to my soul purpose, my soul mission. Yep. And then those opportunities will queue themselves up. Now, let's get into some of what these gifts are, because a more esoteric one just popped in. So it's probably somebody or somebody's needs to hear this. Some people I've worked with in meditation travel to the scene of accidents and help. And they are not there in the physical. Yep. That's a pretty cool one. I have happened upon the scene of several accidents a lot recently. Interesting. Do my thing and then just travel on down. But that would be one that's kind of unique and interesting. And I can feel the field. Some of you have done this. Yeah, it feels really good to be like seen, doesn't it? I can feel that ping back. That's so cool. I want to share something that the greater spirits of this region shared with me, especially when I was at Craters of the Moon. I was working through some being seen stuff. And the counseling from the spirit realms here was, we can acknowledge you and see you, but only truly if you acknowledge yourself. It was both encouragement and admonishment. It's a choice not to self-validate. And again, born out of the protector, to protect us from fear of being wrong, fear of being rejected. Okay, and let's get into the question about, how do I pursue being a healer and stepping into my healing gifts without credentials? This is like one of my favorite subjects. You are a vast multidimensional being. You have experience across many, many different fractals of self in many different systems that will do intertech transfer from within. So if you go into meditation and you ask for different aspects from other systems, planetary systems, solar systems, universes, dimensions, timelines, your future self on your highest timeline as a healer, to self-reveal and bring forward their own knowing, their evolved whatever, you can do it that way. That's how I happen to have done it. Really profound. We also have like 11 other aspects here in human form, some of whom are really evolved. Like I have an ascetic who lives in the Himalayas, Kuchitran. Many of you have heard me talk about him quite a bit. that gets really interesting. Now, if that for whatever reason doesn't speak to you or doesn't seem to work for you, what's coming through is that go ahead and begin with some modality of some kind. Much of why you feel blocked, it has to do with not trusting your power for a couple reasons. Usually it's associated with persecution in other experiences and or your own abuse of power. You don't trust yourself with power. So just starting somewhere and getting in the swing of it and not claiming too much responsibility and then taking it from there. Usually people, like, for example, I work with a lot of therapists, and they're in a very conventional setting that has licensure and all the stuff, right? All the credibility. But within that context, they feel called to reach out for more. And through them and their special proclivity for healing comes, and then some of their clients recognize it, thinking of one person in particular, like, who you are. They're like, the spirit works through you is what they've been told. Like, yeah. What wants to be emphasized here in response to both questions is just get going in service. Set the intention that you want to be of service and allow the opportunities to present themselves. So that's it for this part of the Q&A. There are a lot more questions that I'll be getting to over time. Hopefully it will give me an excuse to get out into the beautiful wilds that I love so much and play. This is absolutely play for me. I'm going to go for a little bit more of a hike before I lose all my light. I love you all. Keep going. You are so needed. You are being called into service because so many people need help. So just get out of your own way. Don't make it about you, and bring these beautiful gifts out into service and get to discover them in real time along with the people that you're helping. All right. I love you. And hey, if you're looking for a high vibe tribe, we are doing some amazing things in something called the Higher Love family. It is a lot of amazing higher love alchemy that I was directed to start bringing out in the middle of 2024. And I've frankly just been mind and heart blown at what has come through in terms of activations and helping all of us keep in sync with this fast moving ascension. So that information is below. Put in the bloopers now. Whooshoo! Where were we, Shrimpy?